The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Man, who made me a judge, arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care and be on your guard against all covetousness. For one's life does not consist in the abundance of one's possession." And he told them parable saying, "The land of a rich man produced plentifully, and he thought to himself, 'What shall I do? For I have now here to store nowhere to store my crops.' And he said, 'I will do this. I will tear down my barns and build larger ones. And there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'Fool, this night your soul is required of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
My dear friends, one positive side of Corona, now it's coming again in a different form, that we are reminded of our coffins, Even those patients are not allowed to bury, and the cremation was done. So one positive side, that we thought for a second that we are going to die. Of course, it's kind of a very negative thing in human mind, where we thought about when we think about our death. Today in the morning, I went for a mass, my dear friends, and I was there, a profession of two sisters. And their father said in the sermon that the day he was ordained, one priest came and told that you are ordained today, but then what is most important, that you are ordained a priest, that you die as a priest. Think about your death. And so when if we think about our death, the psalmist beautifully says, right? Then teach us to number our days, that we may gain wisdom of heart. So if you think that you are going to die, that your days are numbered. So if you exactly know that when you are going to die, some people I have heard of where they sleep on their own coffin. Every day, right? Of course, we sleep, of course, not in our coffins, but then we sleep like dead people, and with all the problems and all that. But then they sleep practically in their coffins. So, in their coffins, because they recall their death. And in Buddhism, my dear friends, there is we call Pilikul Bhavana, a meditation where the person thinks about the vanity of life. So you think everything and look at everything and look at the ebbing side of the thing, the destruction, the corrosion, and it will go away. Everything changes. Philosopher Heraclitus say, we cannot step into one river twice, because the river, the moment I step into the river, next time the river is changed. It won't be the same. So in philosophy, only certain thing in the world is, only unchanging thing in the world is change. And a lot to think about, lot to think about. If you contemplate that you are going to die one day, but then not like in Buddhism. It's so negative. Think about the negative side of life and you let go. But then for us, it's different, my dear friends. Because in the first reading, we find Ecclesiasticus, and the exact meaning of the word is Kohelet, a preacher, one who calls an assembly. And there, it's a very, very different kind of a book in the Bible. That's a very unique kind of book. Bible is so rich in that way. Normally, by biblical perspective is different from this Kohelet or Ecclesiasticus. And there it says, vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity. So this vanity, originally in Hebrew, it is Havel and Havelim. You don't have to remember this. Just get the idea. Habel and Havelim. Habel means breath. So imagine, now your breath, you breathe out. And where is that breath? Where? Breath is gone. And that is Habel. Where the vanity, breath. And Havelim means breath of the breath. That, if you imagine, that breath that I breathe out will have a breath. For that breath, how vain things can be. So uncertain, things are very uncertain. But then for us, my dear friends, everything is changing, but one thing is not changing. In Isaiah 54 verse 10, it is said, the whole world will change. Mountains will shake, sky can fade. But my love will never change. Everything is in flux, but my word should be your foundation. God is perpetual, everlasting. So for us, it's different. We don't look at the vanity of things. Rather, we look into the eyes of God. That loving eyes. That love stronger than mountains, deeper than oceans. And we have God who is certain in our lives, my dear friends. So in Ecclesiasticus it said, vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Exactly. Everything is in vain. It will fade away, ebb away, will be worn out. But our God, my Jesus, is always there. So rather looking at the negative side, we will look at the positive side. My Jesus is love. But then you have to remember, Satan is Hasatan. Satan in Hebrew is Hasatan, a distractor. He will distract you. That is his. So the moment you are distracted, then of course you will lose the focus. The moment you lose the focus, we call that hamartia. Hamartia is sin. So you should be focused on him all the time. That's exactly what happened to Martha. With good intention, she invited Jesus and started working like anything, and lost focus, lost the track, and came and scolded even the Lord and judged her brother, her sister. That can happen to us. So in the gospel, my dear friends, in the gospel, we find a person coming to the Lord. Very interesting. After listening all the sermons, and he comes and says, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." A disciple should be a Mary who sat at the feet of the Lord. Jesus said to Martha, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious over many things, but Mary has chosen the right thing." You should be a person who listens, not who commands. Our prayer is most of the time a package prayer, my dear friends. So that's exactly why the Lord taught us how to pray. It's more surrendering. Of course, we have to ask like a son. You are a heir in that connection. You belong to Him. So in that relationship, you will ask like a son, not like a pauper or beggar. So prayer is not the place where you command the Lord what to do. No. Rather, you have to be a disciple rather than a devotee. Listen, Lord, I'm your servant. Let thy will be done in my life. That should be your prayer. So a disciple is the one who's sent. You should be sent by the Lord. Listen to the Lord. Most of the time, we are devotees. We come to the Lord with lot of intentions, lot of lists, Of course, these days Sri Lanka is going through terrible state, and there is no one else to ask God only. Think about the expenses, my God. There was a post after increasing of the price of bread. You bake the bread and you eat. Bakers, you eat the bread because we can't buy it, It's a terrible time. But then you have to remember, of course, we can share our things. In Lord's Prayer, even when Jesus prayed, "Father, everything is possible for you. If possible, take this cup away from me." That's exactly what I wanted. But then it's not a command. Always you should surrender. This particular person, "Teacher, tell my brother," like Martha only, "tell my sister to help me." Sometimes we, in our prayers, we tell the Lord what to do. We are the Lord, and as if God does not know what is. He is the beginning and end. Our thoughts are like the ground, like the earth. His thoughts are like the sky, far away from us. How can we fathom what He thinks about, what He plans for us? He will give the best, and He will do the best, not whatever you want. So surrendering everything to Him is a beautiful side in your life. And He says, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." My dear friends, whether we don't know he's the elder brother or younger brother, because in their culture, elder brother should get 2/3 of the property and younger brother 1/3. Elder brother, eldest, is the most important person in the family. And then the Lord has said, "Man, who made me a judge and an arbitrator over you?" Now, who told you that I'm here for this? Come on, my dear friends. Sometimes for us, God is an ATM machine, a bank, a saving. We go to Him to get things only. So narrow. He's vast, He's a loving Father. Rather than enjoying the bosom, rather than enjoying the company, enjoying that intimacy, you just go and officially, and like a business, you get things and go away. You don't enjoy. That's exactly how Lord prayed. And disciples saw the way He prayed. He was greedy for that prayer. He stole time for prayer. And that intimacy they saw, that's exactly why he came and asked, one of the disciples came and asked, Lord, teach us to pray. You go to the Father, you desire it, you ardently desire, however you find time for prayer. My dear friends, it's different. God, for us, God is so narrow. God, we limit Him to one particular thing. We don't see the magnanimity, the glorious presence of God in our lives. That's exactly why, who said that I am a lawyer? No, I'm here not for this. This is a petty way of dealing with me. I'm far worse than what you thought. Then he says, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, all greed. Beware, be careful, because greed can blind you. My dear friends, then the Lord is saying, a land of rich man produce plentifully. That man was rich. You have to understand this background, Septuagint of the Bible, background of the Bible. In Old Testament, my dear friends, if you are blessed by God, you will be rich. Wealth is one sign that you are blessed by God. Though all the sicknesses, they said, it's a curse of God. Famine and leprosy, sometimes God punished them with sicknesses. So wealth and health are the blessings of God. And the generation, you should have children as a blessing. That's why Abraham went and said to the Lord, I'm rich and I'm healthy, but then I don't have a child. So what then? Wealth, health, and generation. So this person, according to the Old Testament, is a person who is blessed by God. God as a father has blessed him, fine. But then he's distracted with the blessing. The gift has become more important than the giver. You know, you ask for something and you do novenas. Once you get it, you forget the giver. You lose the track. That's the danger of answered prayers. So that's exactly why whenever Lord said, when you go to the promised land, remember to do these things, because you might lose track when you are healthy and wealthy. That's exactly why you should remember that I will die one day. Not negatively, but rather positively. And this particular person, what I shall do, the land of rich man produce plentifully, because God has blessed it. There's no problem about it. He's not a liar, he's not a cheater, he has not robbed. He's rich because he has worked hard, like Martha. Of course, he has prayed. Okay, fine. Now he's blessed. Because of the connection, he's blessed. He's a good person. But then danger of answered prayers sometimes. Danger of prosperity. You can be distracted, deviated from the vision of God. Then what happened? What shall I do? And he thought to himself, what shall I do? For I have nowhere to store my crops. And he said, I will do this. I will tear down my barns and build larger ones. And there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, I. No, God. That's the problem of ego. You know the answer for ego? Leave the I and go. That's the answer. Ego. Now God is forgotten. The giver is forgotten because of the things that you are given. My dear friends, it's a deceptive, your mind is so deceptive. In Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9, The mind is the most deceptive thing in you. It can cheat you. All the thoughts, devil can twist your mind. And subtle, in a very subtle way, he can take you away. Now he's planning. Without asking God, what shall I do? Talking to himself, thinking, thought to himself. When he was blessed, he should have gone to the Lord. Lord, thank you for blessing me. I have plenty. I have abundance. God, thank you so much. He's going to break the barns. Why you should have a barn? Because you have plenty already. Now he has blessed more. Not to have his barns broaden. No. You're blessed to share. You're given to share. In the world today, a lot of rich countries, they throw their crops to sea, oceans, then destroy them because they want to keep the demand, keep the price high. So when they have a lot of goods, the prices will go low down. To maintain the prices, they destroy it. Then only they can keep the standards. Had they shared with Africa, of course, had they shared with Sri Lanka now, harder than Africa, Ethiopia and Somalia, and it's part of Sri Lanka. Sounds also the sounds Ethiopia, Somalia, Sri Lanka. Good. Clenching couplet is nice. Yeah, and good. My dear friends, they are blessed to share. Now it's good to think about your life. If God has blessed you, not only with money. Money is one main thing where you can distracted. The moment you have money, you will be comfortable. Then you don't have to depend. You go to European countries, all the wealthy, healthy countries, in the churches they don't have young crowd, youth. No, all the old people would come because they think about their death. And then come to the church, When they are healthy and when they go to clubbing and partying, they forget that they are going to die. So when we are healthy and wealthy, we tend to depend on ourselves. What I shall do, What I shall do. Okay, fine. I will break my barns and I will build bigger ones and I store them. Okay, fine. Then I will have plenty. I will have plenty. So you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry, That's his goal. Forget that he is going to die one day. Forget that he is going to die. My dear friends, you cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot serve God and wealth. No. Wealth is there for you to serve God. Wealth is there to serve people, to love each other. Of course, you have to love them. If you want to, one thing, Good Samaritan, whatever he had, that wine, that oil, that money, he spent to serve the man who is broken and fallen. Your wealth has meaning. Exactly. We need money. You read Luke chapter 8 verse 2 onwards. And there were Susanna, Mary Magdalene, and a lot of other women, wealthy women, who served the Lord with their wealth. For the mission, we need wealth. For your life, you need wealth. Exactly. There's no problem about it. Wealth intrinsically is not evil. In itself is not evil. But in the moment, your focus is gone. You focus on wealth. In Matthew chapter 7, it is said, beautifully said, verse 21, where your mind is, there is your wealth. There is your treasure. Think about today. Practically, what about today? Think about this day. Now it's 6:48. Still a sermon. Okay. Wealth and power, Anyway. So think about today, my dear friends. From morning till now, what was your preoccupation? What did you think? What did you think? Where were your thoughts? And that is your treasure. Where is God in your thoughts, my dear friends? So that's the problem. If you focus on money, we have one person who helps us, his name is Money. And money, then money, you can earn a lot, you know. There's no problem. But then you will lose your life. So this particular person, I will tear down my barns and build larger ones. And I will store all my grain and my goods. And I'll say to my soul, soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, merry. Cancer positive. Heart attack. You know, the Lord is saying, you fool, you're going to die today. You're going to die today. Then only Father, I want to make my confession, you know. Extreme unction. You fool that you're going to die today. What would happen to all your plans? What's going to happen with all your wealth that you have wasted so much? You know, when you wanted to break the bonds and build larger ones, you will work. You will be tensed, you know. Then you have to expand the security system. If you have a Labrador, that's the most petted dog. No, Alsatian, Bulldog, Alsatian or whatever it is. You know, you have many dogs to protect the barns and more cameras, CCTV cameras, and you'll be tense, you know. And to build, you have to plan and get the planners and all. Okay, of course, building, you will consume a lot of your time. You become another Martha. And you don't have time to pray. And you're comfortable that your wealth will look after you. You don't depend on God. You have to be careful, my dear friends. You have to be very, very careful. Your greed is not my greed. It's different. I don't have a problem with money, but I have a problem with my mission. I love my mission. I love preaching. I love to worship. You know, I love to do recordings. I love to preach. I'm greedy sometimes. Sometimes he pricks my ear and he remind me, not your mission, but me, my child. Spend time with me. I have to fight for that. I have to fight for time to be with him. In Mark chapter 3 verse 13, he went to the mountain. Can he call all of the disciples to be with him first, then to do the mission? It's important that to be on your guard. That's exactly why. Take care and be on your guard, because Satan can come like a blessing. In your blessing, you can be distracted. Exactly when Abraham was answered with Isaac, only child, and he lost the track. God appeared in Genesis chapter 22 and said, Abraham, that son that you love, your son, your. God was, it's sarcasm. Kill him in Moriah and offer me. Where is your focus? Gift has become more important than the giver. He has become greedy for his child because he's the answered prayer, long-waited prayer, request. Be careful, my dear friends. You have to be careful. God is giving this message today because He loves you. He loves you so much. You can be blinded with your greed. You can be distracted with your greed. So your wealth, your mammon, your plans, and you have lost the track. By step, God can take you away from Him. The devil can take you away from Him. That's exactly why, exactly in the second reading, put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you: sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Put to death, you have to kill it. You cannot cuddle it, just kill it. If you remember, if you think, if you sense spiritually that you are going away, cut your hand, it is said. Pluck your eye, it is said. You have to be harsh sometimes. You have to be harsh. You might have to hurt people, hurt yourself. You know, we have to done spiritually. That mortification should be there. You have to say no. You have to say no at what time. You cannot please people or yourself. My dear friends, the Lord is saying beautifully, if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. My dear friends, always whenever you are blessed with money, we are blessed with talents, think about the kingdom. Think about the heaven that you have to go. Think about the earthly prosperity, not heavenly prosperity rather than earthly prosperity. Think about that heavenly plan. Ask God, Lord, thank you for blessing me. Now what do you want me to do? Not only 10%. It's beautiful to give your 10% to the Lord, your first share to the Lord. That not only that, ask about everything. Get the direction. That's exactly why here last time he said, ask, He will give you Holy Spirit. Let that Spirit of God lead you. Always have your eyes fixed on Him. As Stephen saw heavens open and saw God, Jesus is seated at the right hand of the Father. You should see Him all the time. You should feel Him all the time. You should hear Him all the time. Get the direction. Because we are living in a carnal world, deadly world. We are living in a cheating world. We are being deceived by the worldly things. Flesh can cheat you, take you away. Your greed can take you away from God. So that's exactly why you have to be careful. Be on your guard. Go to Him. Go to Him. Be aware of all your greeds. But then you can have one greedy feeling with you. You can be greedy for God. You can be greedy for God like Mary. Be greedy for Him. Be greedy for His love. Be greedy for His voice. Be greedy for His embrace. You can be greedy for God. That is the best cover, best shield that you can have against the greed of the world. You can be greedy for God. Amen.